Hi, my name is Khalif Celestine, and this is my final project. The article that I'm going to be going over, that I'll be discussing with you, is an article that I found on Co-op today about CNN. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you find it engaging. It's about strippers. The article is about strippers versus owners of strip clubs and strip establishments. And the crux of the argument is, should strippers be treated as employees, or should they continue to be treated as independent contractors, which they are now? And just to give you some background, stripping is a profession of erotic dancing, performed to contemporary music of some sort where taking off of clothes is involved, according to Wikipedia, for public excitement, engagement, and entertainment. So that's according to Wikipedia. So strippers, we know what strippers. Strippers strip. They take their clothes off. They dance for money. The argument is, should they be treated as employees by the people employing them in the strip club, or should they continue to be treated as an independent contractor? As an independent contractor, the boss, the employer, the owner of the strip club pays no employee taxes for the strippers. This means that they don't receive Medicare, they don't receive health care, they're not able to collect unemployment benefits when they're forced to leave their establishment or what have you. And my take on that is that they should be allowed to, but we'll get into that. A little background on the information on the argument. It opens up with a lady named Sonia. Sonia's worked as a stripper for 3 years in 15 other states. Sonia claims that she, despite being hired as an independent contractor, that she's had to set hours that she's had to be at work. She's had a uniform that she's had to wear, or take off rather, and she's had punishments placed on her if she didn't cooperate with those rules. She was either penalized or she lost her job. Now, Sonia found that she and a lot of other strippers were having to pay the management, the strip club owners, for things like DJ costs, like lighting, cleanup, and other overhead costs that they felt they shouldn't be paying, which caused Sonia and the other strippers to unionize, and they've won 2 states already, and two are still pending, and there's one that's under litigation now. But the purpose is, sorry, I got a little lost there. Should they be treated as strippers, or should they continue to be treated as independent contractors? Refresh my notes. Right. So morally, people are going to say no. Like right off the bat, people are going to say no, she's a stripper. They know what they're getting themselves into. Morally, stripping is wrong. It's against God. Tells husbands to cheat on their wives. Sexual deviousness is promiscuity. And one, most of those things are subjective. Two, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to feel the way you are, just like someone's entitled to want to be a stripper, to want to strip. And if that's how they want to make an income, then I feel like as individuals in 2013, we have no choice but to accept that. Legally, it's a legitimate way to provide for yourself and your loved ones and things like that. And if the law has no problem with it, and the individual has no problem with it, then why should anyone who does not agree with that interfere with that? If the law and no one else has a problem, if they're not hurting anyone outside of that circle, then I see no issue with it. Another reason people may disagree is that they'll say the strippers know what they're getting into when they sign up for this. They're coming and they're like, hey, here's what it is, you gotta pay, you can keep this much, and you gotta give me this percent for this, overhead costs. Like, it happens, it's the pyramid effect. And that makes sense, except you shouldn't have to pay to make money, especially somewhere where you've established a relationship with someone. And the best way I could put this is a subcontractor. Both of my co-ops have been in the construction field. My major is civil engineering. I've actually switched to business and engineering, civil engineering, concentration in logistics. But my co-ops were at the airport, and now I'm doing one at a construction consulting auditing firm. And what you'll see all the time with subcontractors is that when a contractor takes on a job and say they're specializing concrete work, but they take on a job and it requires concrete work and a little bit of painting. So they'll do the concrete work and then they'll hire someone to do the painting for them. This is a subcontractor. The reason that they'll hire a subcontractor rather than hiring a painter is that they only need a painter for this one job. They only need them really briefly to do one thing. A quick engagement together, boom, and they're done. There's no reason to bring them on any further. Therefore, they'll issue contractual work. They'll issue bids. The lowest priced, the person who says they can do the work for the least amount of money is taken on. They'll do the work. Money's exchanged, and the subcontractor goes about their business afterwards, and there's no problem with this. The contractor who employed the subcontractor doesn't have to pay any kind of taxes for the subcontractor. They don't pay their Medicare, and there's no issue with that because it was such a brief engagement that they had. However, if you've been working with the same person for 15 years, you've traveled from state to state with them, and you've helped their company grow, you've mentored others, you've brought others in, you've seen the company change from what it is now from what it was to what it is, and I feel as though you do have a stake in that company, and that is what makes you an employee, and that is what develops that long-termness, because you bring more than just the basic service. You've helped the company grow. You've added that extra dimension that basically an employee seeks. I feel as though on the employer's side, it's almost a cop-out to not pay the women as employees, being that they don't have to pay them a base pay and that they're paid entirely off commission. Makes no sense. If they're working with them all the time, why wouldn't you pay them? Why would you force them to pay you if you worked with them? It just doesn't make sense to me. Right. So in order to turn a profit, they would charge the strippers, and that really doesn't make any sense, because if they're taking a percentage of the strippers' income anyway, if their main income in a strip club is alcohol and the money that is the percentage of money taken from the women at the end of the night, then why then does it make sense to put additional tax on top of what you're already taxing? It just doesn't make sense to me.